Thank you very much for staying on the marketplace and welcome back. Now to the very fair story, government's quest to ensuring that its flagship industrialization policy, the one district, one factory, is private sector led, is gradually materializing. A Turkish firm is currently working to invest some $150 million into the agri sector. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center, Yofi Grant, disclosed this to Joy Business at the conference on the National Single Window and World Trade Organization Trade Facilitation Agreement.
Oh, there are many, and they are coming through many angles. You know, they only come to GIPC when they've set up their business and they've registered. But I have been to Turkey, where there's a whole Turkish delegation coming to have a look at it. I have had indications of another Turkish group that has indicated that they want to invest 150 million and help our own people set up little factories to manufacture and put together agric machinery. It's a 150 million facility with an interest of 1%. You know, so they are there. I have had a group from Canada also indicate clear interest that they want to go into the agric processing area. I have had a group from Dubai also say they are clearly interested, and so they are studying. They have come in, they have gone around the country, and I believe that the interest is real. It's been overwhelming. I mean, I must say that the interest and the goodwill that this government has is sometimes overwhelming. And because suddenly Ghana is on the lips of many people, they are trying to understand where we are going, they recognize the change. And I think the new government has a lot of goodwill, which can translate positively into rebuilding our economy and growing it and creating jobs for our people.
The West African sub-region, just recently the president was in Benin and Togo, some of other countries. I want to find out whether we have some of these companies also coming into Ghana. You mentioned Turkey, you mentioned Dubai, but within the sub-region, are we having such a collaboration with such companies to come into Ghana?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, there are Nigerian companies already seriously looking at this market. There are Ivorian investors already looking into this market in the area of textiles, in the area of cocoa processing. And so we do have, but I think the president's visit was very important for us because these are our neighbors. So on many fronts, it was indeed very important to engage our neighbors to understand where we are going and also collectively look at the region. And I think Ghana is best positioned to sort of be an industrial, financial, transport and financial hub for the sub-region, the West African sub-region. And I think that is where the economy is being fashioned towards. And that is why we are going to see a lot of reforms to bring in the investment to open up into the West African sub-region.
Okay, now the issue of
Now, moving on, the Advertising Association of Ghana, AAG, is blaming the poor state of billboards in the metropolis on local authorities and the activities of unlicensed firms. The aftermath of last weekend's downpour once again exposed challenges with the siting of these structures. Sarah Ameli Josu has more on this.
The unnerving sight of mangled metal frames of billboards scattered around the city and the aftermath of heavy rains is a phenomenon anyone moving around the capital will observe. This trend has brought outdoor advertisement in Ghana under a lot of scrutiny. Executive Director of the Advertising Association of Ghana, Francis Dadzi, pointed out some factors that contribute to the menace.
There are other issues of inferior materials being used. I mean, there are a lot of print houses that have come up, and let me say that, to borrow a word that is not popular, there's a level of galamsey being introduced into the billboard industry and advertising industry. So you know what? A billboard should have proper footings, foundation should be done, because every weight, depending on the weight going up and the size, you also have to have a corresponding foundation to hold that structure. And the fact that also that there are people who are putting structures under billboards. There are people who have owned those sites for more than 15 years. Then all of a sudden they wake up and then there's somebody selling cars under the billboard. Somebody goes to put a container under the billboard. And all these, because the billboard is supposed to have a free place. So in case of anything, because you cannot control the act of God, it should be able to fall free without causing any havoc. So therefore, there are some places that should not also have billboards. Okay? And so therefore, people see one board there and decide to go and put another board by each side. But the understanding is that the board must be standing alone, so that in case there's anything it can have, fall off appropriately.
Mr. Dadzi seized the opportunity to entreat government to pass the Advertising Standards Bill as a form of disciplinary measure to check and regulate activities of the advertising industry.
We're promoting a bill, Advertising Council Bill, so that there must be a legal backing for people to be licensed as advertising practitioners before they practice. But as it stands today, it's a free-for-all. Like that's what I'm talking about, Galam say. So apparently those who have registered with the association, because they want to do right and want to have opportunity to have training and things like that, we have avalanche of unauthorized billboards.
He also entreated the AMA and other local government authorities to collaborate with the Advertising Association of Ghana to put in place measures that will ensure that such structures are well engineered and also meet international safety standards for their erection.
We are ready as an Advertising Association of Ghana, being the only registered professional body of advertising practitioners in this country, to take up our responsibility as stakeholders and help the assemblies put things right. But at the end of the day, the assemblies must be ready to work with us. We have been here. I've been in this position for almost 17 years now. The Advertising Association of Ghana is more than 30 years in existence. So it is imperative on the assemblies to see us as partners and tap into our knowledge and work.
Some industry watchers have also argued that companies should be made to pay a hefty fine for the hazards their structures pose to individuals in the metropolis. Reporting for Joy Business, Sarah Josu.
Meanwhile, the Greater Accra Regional Coordinator of the National Disaster Management Organization, NADMO, says it is yet to deliberate with the Advertising Association of Ghana to help control the situation.
One myself. Exactly. In fact, I got there and the billboard was falling. It fell right where I was. And so I had to make sure.
I don't know whether to say thank God you witnessed one, but I want to find out from you.
Yeah, you were so right. Yeah. You are so very right. Are you with me? And so I had to get on the ground. It was raining. I was in the rain to ensure that I get some young guys around the area and get them something. We had to look for screwdrivers and everything.
So what would you be going forward? What would you be rolling? What policy will you be rolling out?
I think that all of us are part of these things. We have the AAG, the Association of advertisers. Are you with me? I think that they also need to check their members.
Have you engaged them? Have you engaged them?
That one not yet. To be frank with you, that one not yet. I've been trying to engage some community leaders, some assembly members. In fact, I have written to the chiefs. I'm trying to meet the various chieftaincy groups so that we can interact with them. We want to meet all sections of our community and ensure that some kind of interaction goes on, so that we don't see this NADMO as an organization that is waiting for disaster to happen for us to come in and try and do community.
Also live on the marketplace right here on Joy News. Moving on, Ghana is feared to be losing significant amount of revenue due to the menace of illegal mining activities, also known as galamsey. Government has currently placed a temporary ban on licensing of small-scale mining companies in the country, and some stakeholders are of the view this is affecting the economy, as gold has been a major contributor to foreign exchange earnings in the country. Suleiman Kone is CEO of the Chamber of Mines.
Yeah, there was a directive by the Sector Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, that all their purchases should be exported through PMMC. And that's why PMMC is actually speaking about the impact, because practically everything is supposed to go through them. Okay, so that's the way the small-scale mining companies actually operate, through the PMMC, and it's exported. Mining companies have their own track, and it's dedicated and is recognized by law. And so on and so forth. So the large-scale mining companies don't buy from the small-scale mining companies or even the illegal miners. No, that's not permitted by law.
So speaking about the PMMC, where do they fall whenever this argument of illegal small-scale mining comes to play?
I think if you look at the law, I think it's quite clear what the role of the PMMC is. This is to mop up. It was set up by law specifically to be a conduit, so to speak, for the export of, precious minerals from small-scale mining companies. So that has been their remit from day one. Unfortunately, we have a situation where winnings from illegal sources find their way through PMMC, and that has been a major issue. Policymakers acknowledge this. We know about it. Professionals within the mining industry know about this. It has been a major challenge that how do we get to resolve this? But the argument is raised that in the absence of PMMC actually be a conduit, funneling the winnings of small-scale miners through the PMMC. If that is curtailed, then what would be the alternative route through which it is exported? Naturally, to be smuggled outside the country, and it would not even impact on the fiscals of the country. So that has been a major issue. The reality and the ideal situation is to ensure that all these illegal miners actually formalize. They work through under the laws of the country as small-scale mining companies, and then you don't have an argument. So it speaks to the need for us to formalize, these illegal mining companies, those who really want to do their work and do it well. Well, no, they should be supported so that they are helped, they're given the licenses, and they do their, of course, not on water bodies, because that is actually, frowned upon by law. But all other areas where there is evidence of good mineralization, I think they should be supported and do it under guidance, under regulation, under effective supervision so that they can do their work and do it well.
Let's now turn our attention to the performance of some international currencies and the developments on the international market. And the euro has reached a 5.5-month high against the US dollar when markets opened earlier this week. France exited polls upon the outcome of the French presidential election, which saw victory for Emmanuel Macron. Now, the single currency jumped to $1.0 in early trade, having closed at $1.0723, according to Reuters data, representing a 2% jump. Now, we are joined on the line by currency analyst Aseye Akotia from Nordia Capital to aid our understanding of the implications of this particular development on the trend. Now, good afternoon, sir. Welcome to the marketplace.
Good afternoon.
So what exactly could be accounting for this trend that we are witnessing now?
Well, a vote for Macron as an endorsement of Europe as a trading bloc, because sometime last year you had the UK with a major part of the European Union leaving, and it caused some problems for that currency. And Le Pen actually stood for probably another infamous Brexit. And obviously, European Union leaving or losing major like France was going to cause problems for their currency. So obviously a vote for Macron showed that people didn't want to go the way UK wanted. And if you have a response like that, obviously the international body also are seeing that, okay, European Union as a bloc, a trading bloc, stands stronger. And so the response is that their currency is likely to have gained some more ground against the currencies like the US dollar and the yen.
All right, so could it be an indicative factor that the investors, international investors, are swaying towards the presidency of Emmanuel Macron?
Yes, they're swaying towards the presidency of Emmanuel Macron as well as the European Union as a bloc. Because like I said, it's a trading bloc. And when you have major participants and they're leaving the bloc, it obviously affects everything you do with that particular entity, being the European Union. So the investors are responding positively to Macron or France voting for Macron, i.e., France deciding to stay with the whole European Union.
All right, so this particular phenomenon is not new. It's quite synonymous with international markets. Now, Are we expecting this to be sustained, or for now, it's just speculative?
There's a lot of speculation in there. Mind you, perceptions rule the world. There's a lot of speculation in there, and it's a response to sentiment. And obviously, sentiments would have a point where it fizzles out, and the demand and supply for that currency vis-a-vis their perception about the European Union with France staying in there would even out, will have an equilibrium. And so as a matter of time or the shortest possible time, this will even out and becomes more stable.
All right, so over here in our part of the world where the local markets are not too significant because they are not as active as those markets outside there, what will be the implications on the local market as well as the economy?
I don't think the upward run of the euro should have too much of a significant impact on our activities here. Ghana is still a major importer. Also, our balance of payments seems to be negative because you are importing more than you're exporting. And if you check the numbers, you realize that we export more to India, to China, and just very few European countries, as against importing a lot from the European countries. And so, if anything at all, I expect a positive effect on our balance of payments, because once you are exporting less or you're exporting more to a particular region that you are importing, if the currency of that region seems to be an upward one, you tend to gain. Your balance of payments seems to be stronger. So we're actually expected to affect our currency or our situation here positively.
And what could be the implications on international transactions with the EU in general?
Once you have the euro with upward one, and times like this, it will be good times for those who are doing a lot more business in Europe. So I expect that those who have options, or whether I'm dealing with Europe or probably America or Asia, I expect them if they have those options to look the way of Europe right now, because she's starting to gain more as a business entity because of the upward run of their currency.
All right. Now, the new presidency now in place, and what should be our reactions as a developing country with not so much, significant trade activities with France? What should be our reactions in a few months or years ahead?
Okay, like I said from the beginning, a vote for Macron is just an endorsement of the European Union, and that brings some stability into the region, and everybody wants to trade with a region that is very stable. So I expect the businesses here, the local market, to begin to look a lot more at the European Union and at the whole trading bloc of Europe. After the exit of United Kingdom and after Trump, there seems to be a lot of muddy waters outside there, and we're not too sure whether it was America we're looking towards or Europe or China. When a vote for Macron, I believe that it shows some level of stability. At least we are sure that France, for the next 5 years, all things equal, is going to stay with the European Union, and it's a major part of that bloc. So I expect the local businesses here to focus on that, maximize the returns with dealing with Europe.
All right, let's come down to our local market here, the currency market to be specific. Now, the cedi is still witnessing some stability, marginal stability against the US dollar.
Yeah.
And what could be the development now on the market and its implications on trade?
The cedi, we expect to continue that stability, that upward run that seems to have characterized the cedi for the past few weeks. I don't expect it to move that way throughout the rest of the year. But after the dollar, the euro, the bond that was issued, I expect the stability that the cedi gained to still continue, at least in the next in the short term. We expect the cedi to be more stable. I.e., with even the European Union, like I said, endorsing Macron and the euro being more stable as well as compared to the dollar, I don't expect the dollar to have that much ground. So in the local market vis-a-vis the dollar, I think we still have some positive run to expect with regards to the cedi.
Do you think we are likely to hit the 3 cedi mark as against the dollar by the end of this year?
Say again, did you say likely to hit the 3
The
cedi
parity
mark?
rate between the dollar and the cedi, is it likely to hit the 3 Ghana cedi to $1 mark by the end of the year?
I hope so. Honestly, I think for where it started from to 3 cedi by the end of the year will be far-fetched, but I really don't expect that. But hey, we are here. We are trading with the outside world, and it will be good news for us. It will be good news for the market.
How good would it be for investors, especially in times of an appreciation of the local currency?
Can you say that again, please?
How significant is it, or will it be for investors, international investors who want to invest in the country in times like these?
It will be significant. If you're out there and your currency is losing ground, the next best thing is look at emerging markets to have better returns for, very better value for money. So it is significant, especially for investors who are expecting to come down here. So if this is sustained, and with already what Ghana is, the goodwill Ghana is experiencing right now with the outside market, we expect the next few months to be very good for inflow of top dollar.
All right, many thanks for your time, Mr. Aseye. And Aseye Akotia is from Nordia Capital. He's been talking about the change in government in France and its implications on the appreciation of the euro and also other international currencies. It's on the marketplace. And moving on to another story, mobile phone dealers at the Kwame Nkrumah interchange area have vowed to continue to defy directives by the Accra Metropolitan Assembly to stop selling on the pavement unless government provides them somewhere else where they could sell their phones in peace. Successive governments have tried to evict the second-hand phone dealers from the pavement where they currently occupy. In the following report, the phone dealers, who number about 1,500, want government to allow them to operate for a year, during which period a daily levy will be charged them to generate enough funds to build a phone center for them.
Okay, so 3-5, right? Yeah. All right, so after securing the place and doing business for over 10 years, the second-hand phone dealers at Circle, what has become the hub of second-hand phone, face eviction from the AMA task force. Now, if successful, the Accra Metropolitan Assembly task force will evict over 1,500 second-hand phone dealers from what has become the hub of second-hand phone in the country. Now, the question being posed by businessmen and women here is that where is the alternative for them to go and do business?
You sack us to go, the next day we come here. Rather, you have to pay the police and you have to pay the AMA people to come and sack us here. And
you guys must be very, very stubborn.
You know, we are not stubborn. The reason is we don't have anywhere.
You continue to defy the law. You continue to defy directive from the AMA.
No, if the,
what does that make you?
You know, we don't defy the law. If the government have provided us a place to sell, that's phone dealers, this is your market, you have to go and sell. So that if anyone trespass the market, that one you can deal with the person. But here be the case, we don't have anywhere to go and sell, and we cannot go and sell. But what means you have to earn a living too.
They propose the imposition of a levy that will allow them to sell their gadgets.
We have done the calculation, it's simple logic and simple calculation. If you have made the calculation, each person is paying 6 cedis for a week. And that 6 cedis times 4 weeks. 4 weeks make a month. And a month, there is a 12 months in a year. So that a month times 12. And we are going to get 280,000 Ghana cedi. It's quite a lot of money, which means in every year, the previous government, each government is losing 280,000 Ghana cedi from here.
It is up to the government to provide a convenient place to work. You understand what I mean? So if the government says, okay, fine, this is what I've got for this place, I've got this place for you. Come and take this place and work. We don't have a choice.
Until that is done, what do you intend to do?
Until that thing is done, we continue to be in the streets. I must be frank with you, I will not lie. Because you come and...
Even with the tax force?
They will come and sack us today, tomorrow we will come back.
Haven't made their stance known, it remains to be seen how the AMA will respond to the phone dealers.
And on that defiant culture of these mobile phone dealers, we conclude this afternoon's edition of the Marketplace. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Apuachi. Good afternoon.